Greetings, baseball lovers. It's your buddy Chapadong. I'm coming at you with another quick video. We're going to talk a little bit about a little weekly review for DFS MLB. If you like this type of content, greetings, baseball lovers. It's your buddy Chapadong. I'm coming at you with another quick video. This time we're going to concern ourselves with a little bit of a weekly review, something that I like to do periodically throughout the season, just to double check and make sure that my head's in the right place for targeting the DFS MLB teams that I like to target. So why don't you follow along? I'll show you kind of the process that I do on Sunday, Mondays, those types of days where I do it about once a week, and every few weeks I'll kind of review and just make sure that I'm following on to the right things. If you like this type of content, click the like and subscribe button down there at the bottom, ring the notification bell so you get an indication that I've just released another video, and of course contemplate becoming a VIP inside DFSArmy.com. Really and truly your one-stop shop for everything DFS. From PGA, we had a great Masters weekend. We absolutely obliterated NASCAR again, won about every major tournament out there with emblems on the leaderboards with our logos. So to be honest with you, you probably need to come inside and trigger the content tools and coaching that really and truly are going to make you a better player. But let's talk baseball. Let's dive in and talk a little bit of review. To do that, I use a site like Fangraphs. Fangraphs is a pretty simple site. If you don't know where it is, fangraphs.com. Right there is their logo. I go into the leaders tab, go under batters, 2019, and I'm going to start sorting by sample sizes, because what I want to do is I want to start looking quickly at overall team stats. I want to see what offenses have been producing, what offenses have been giving up runs, or not offenses, but which pitching staffs have been giving up runs. And I'll do that over, say, not a team split. I don't want to do that. Let's go down under a 2-week sample size. Usually that's a pretty fair number. Now I'm going to come down here, I'm going to sort through on the offense on the batting side, and I'm just generally, I don't care about home runs, stolen bases, OBP, OPS, WRC+, I don't care about any of that stuff. I care about runs. Bottom line me. Which teams are scoring runs? And I'm going to write the top 10 down on a piece of paper, and just kind of look for them to match up against crappy pitching or crappy teams this week. The Mariners, Mets, Athletics, Nationals, Dodgers, Cubs, Braves, Diamondbacks, Orioles, Brewers. They're the teams that are running hot right now. Of course I'll be watching Yankees and Rays and Phillies and whatever else. Astros may be climbing up. But if I check this once a week or so throughout the season, I kind of know who to target, who's running well and who's not. Doesn't work always. They run into buzzsaws. But I will know, and I'll be able to have a general feel for when the Red Sox and the Cardinals and the Astros and the Yankees start creeping into this top 10, and I will play that ascension game of catching that train while it's starting to heat up. And I'm going to catch those players on those offenses cheaper early on in that train. When that train starts moving, I'm going to catch those players cheaper in DFS than I am if I wait, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road, and then they're already premium priced. So it's another way to kind of look for value, kind of get an idea, not a foolproof idea, but just a general idea of value and where it's going to come from. It's going to be in those offenses currently, but I'm watching for offenses as I get a feel for the season. I'm watching for those teams that are starting to rise on that little leaderboard. And I'll do the same thing for pitching. But for pitching, I've got to go into the standard tab, and then I've got to look at runs. Runs allowed, man. It's all that matters. I don't care about earned runs. Bottom line me. If I run across the plate, I want a piece of it. So 91 runs allowed by the Orioles in the last 2 weeks. We should be targeting the Baltimore pitching with our bats. Mets, Red Sox, White Sox, so any kind of Sox, Dodgers, Cubs, Rockies, Royals, Brewers, Phillies. We should be targeting these teams. When we see that they're matching up against a decent offense that we already saw, then we're going to really get excited, because it's going to be a good team that is currently scoring runs going in against a team that is allowing a lot of runs. DFS fundamentals, that just makes good logical sense that that's a team you should probably pay attention to. As long as they're not running their ace pitcher out or something, we should probably be attacking that. And even if they are, if that ace pitcher gets a little roughed up or has a little shorter outing and we get into that bullpen, it's obviously the bullpen that's allowing a lot of the runs as well. So that's a target that we want to be paying attention to. So I'll just write those 10 teams down, the pitching and the batting. Now I'll go into player stats, and I'm going to pay attention to maybe top 5 at each position here. Oh, I didn't mean to go to team stats. I meant to go to player stats. I meant to go to batting. We'll be looking for individual hitters now. And instead of, let's go 14 days. You already asked me 1,000 times. No, I don't want to be a member. I would have already done it by now. There's no sense in annoying the crap out of me and trying to convince me to become him. All it's going to do is just piss me off. Bad marketing scheme on your part there, Fangraphs. Let's sort by WOBA. And I want to see the highest WOBA for qualified players at each individual position. Okay, so I'm going to start with the catchers. And I'm going to see anything over about a 400 spike. Grandal's hot. Navarre's not quite. Narvaez, whatever. None of these catchers are worth a crap. Really and truly, you're punting catcher. You're randomly throwing darts at catcher on DraftKings right now if you're not taking Grandal and you're choosing anybody else because none of them are hitting well. You can't predict which ones are likely to continue hitting well. Only Yasmani Grandal is actually hitting the ball very, very well. The rest of them are all crapshoots. Write him down though. Start watching for him this week. First base, resort by WOBA again because it doesn't carry that through with you. Now, our research station at dfsarmy.com does, and it allows you to pay attention to, L10, L14, WOBAs, all this kind of stuff. So you're going to see a lot of the same stuff. I just like to do this in the evenings while I'm waiting for the other stuff to populate. So now I've got my WOBAs, about 400 or so is about where I would stop. So I would write down Bellinger, Peter Alonso, Hoskins, Carlos Santana, Mancini, Encarnacion, Moreland, Bruce. These are guys you already know are hot, but it's interesting to see how they compare with other players on the slates, other players in that list, and see who's hotter than who and at what price. Because when I've got a deeper position like this, first base is a productive position across MLB in general, and so I'm going to always have options here. So it depends on, do I want to play the matchup, maybe complete parts of my stacks, or when it's a deeper position, I don't need to necessarily pay up. I can get similar production out of a cheaper player. So I would look for my value in a position like this. In the catcher spot where we only had one guy to really look for, when I see him, I'm going to pretty much pay up for him. I'll take my value here. Instead of paying up for a Cody Bellinger right now, I would continue to take some value maybe out of a Mitch Moreland. So then we'll go to second base. And we'll just walk position by position. Look at about over a 400 WOBA. So again, it's never too deep. And second base is not a great position typically. It's going to be better than a couple you see coming up though. Brandon Lowe, Altuve, LeMahieu when he plays second base or if he's qualified on DraftKings or FanDuel at second base. Scope, Pinder, Gordon, Kike Hernandez. That doesn't mean I won't play Whit Merrifield. It means that I'll be more excited to play these guys. I'm looking for these guys first. I'm looking for great pitching matchups first. I'm looking for stacks in my offenses with these players first. And then if I can't find it or I'm really excited about two or three other spots on a Kansas City offense, then I would include Whit Merrifield with that. It doesn't mean I won't use him. It just means that I'm going to be more likely to use these guys, Kike Hernandez and above, on this list. And again, I'm just keeping tabs on which players are likely doing what. And I'm going to watch them. I'll start seeing them heat up, and I'll start seeing them slow, cool off as they rise and fall on this list week to week to week. I don't watch it every day. I watch it about once a week. Oh, there's a new name, or oh, there's whatever. Oh, I knew about him, or oh, look at there's a sneaky one. That type of stuff. So we go down to about 400 again. Oh, shallow position. So now I'm going to tend to pay up in this position. I don't have many options typically. I guess you could go down to the 390s if you really had to. That's okay. But if I'm setting my mark at 400 and above, I would be looking at Paul DeJong, Freddie Galvis, Jorge Polanco, Tim Anderson. That's it. I'd be excited to see those guys when they match up against guys, pitchers that I'm looking for or whatever. Would I be afraid to take Orlando Arcia or Carlos Correa? No, I wouldn't. Xander Bogaerts' numbers will change tonight too. He hit a big home run today. So these numbers will change. Maybe Monday morning is when you reevaluate. It doesn't matter what day, as long as you kind of pick the same day throughout the week to do this little review. It could be Wednesday. I don't care. You'll start seeing which guys you should be keying on, and you'll be paying attention. Oh, I've been on that guy this week. Oh yeah, I've been having a pretty good week with that guy because of it. Duh. So sorting my WOBA again, going down for it. Third base, incredibly shallow position right now. That's why Anthony Rendon is amazing. Because you've got almost, in my opinion, if you want to roster a competent third baseman, you're not just throwing a dart and punting. You pay up for Rendon, you go take your value at first base. And balance your roster out that way. Rendon, Suarez, LeMahieu, Bregman. These other guys are falling off a little bit. They're not bad options, but they're not super good options. Manny Machado's been hot, but Manny Machado didn't have the week or two that Anthony Rendon did. Last but not least, we'll do the outfield. Now, because we get to roster 3 of those spots, and because there are 3 of them on the field, you'd expect this position to be quite a bit deeper. Typically is. We'll probably have to scroll down quite a ways to get to the 400 guys. Yep, all the way down to the bottom of the page here. So anything above Jay Bruce, pretty much. You know, I mean, would I bitch about Christian Yelich or Adam Jones? No. But I'd be focused on Austin Meadows, Cody Bellinger, Jason Hayward, probably still fairly cheap, Michael Conforto, Alex Gordon, Acuna, Harper, McCutchen, Mancini. Nico Goodrum is a cheap value play in Detroit typically. He'd be in my lineup every day. Kiermaier would probably be in my lineup almost every day. I'm getting a 430 and 440 WOBA out of these guys for cheap, which allows me to pay up for Rendon, allows me to pay up for, Yasmani Grandal if I have to, allows me to pay up, for somebody a little bit more expensive like a Jose Altuve at second base, where I actually need the production because the position doesn't have much to offer. So I can take my value here. Renfroe, Chu, Kepler. Kepler's pretty cheap probably. Pinder, pretty cheap probably. Markakis, Jay Bruce, those types. I'm not going to be paying up for Bryce Harper, Cody Bellinger, and Ronald Acuna often in a lineup because this position is deep enough that I would rather, if I'm going to get 450 production out of a guy, would I rather get it from, Bryce Harper's price or Kevin Kiermaier's price? That's what you're looking for with the value play. You're trying to get discounted production. Production is blind. It doesn't read the player's name. It reads the numbers over here. I know Bryce Harper has 3 home run potential, and Kevin Kiermaier likely doesn't. But that doesn't mean that Kevin Kiermaier isn't producing very similarly to Bryce Harper over the last 2 weeks, because numbers don't lie, and he is. And if you drill down a little deeper, 395 on base is great versus Harper's 490. 490 is better, but that must mean that the slug is higher. 640, 670, not much. Wins against, WRC Plus, the same. If I wanted to look ISO 350 versus 324, so Kiermaier's hitting for a better ISO than Bryce Harper right now. 18.6 versus 30 points, striking out less, putting the ball in play more often. 11.6, of course, Harper's walking more. 3 stolen bases versus Harper's 1. 2 home runs versus Harper's 3. So you've largely got a similar player for a lot less expensive, a lot less price toward your salary cap hit. And that's what this process is partially designed to help you find, is some of those sneaky little guys in those deeper positions that you can take for value and feel confident in it in almost any pitching matchup. And then build your lineups around other people that you like, Boston stacks, Yankee stacks, whatever, because you've found some of the secret value across the slate that in a lot of cases that the rest of the DFS world doesn't know about. Why? Because they don't think like this. They don't start thinking outside the box. They're thinking purely about, I like the Red Sox tonight, so I'm going to play the Red Sox. But you need to know where these players are throughout the league on any given day or any given week so that you have an idea of who you can automatically reach for without thinking about it. It saves you research time. You look this up, spend 20 minutes on a Sunday night, pick through Fangraphs, dink, 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 position, 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 write them down. Anyone over a 400 WOBA for the week or for the last 2 weeks, write them down. And then you have them right there at your desk, right there at your computer for the next, 5-6 days. And then you know who you can go to because you can just look at your piece of paper and say, ooh, highlight them, circle them, whatever, the value place. And then you'll know when that offense is in a really, really good spot, you'll get really, really excited about that sneaky little value play. Anyway, this has been Chop It On. Quick little 15-minute roadside Sunday tip for you, whatever. I'm going to go back upstairs, finish our Sunday dinner, and hopefully you guys enjoy this with a like, with a subscribe, and then, of course, considering jumping into dfsarmy.com and getting this type of coaching, this type of conversation, not every so often when I release it out on YouTube, but every single day, where you have access to me and you can ask me questions and pick my brain. Not that I'm the greatest baseball player God's ever given to the planet, but I do know where to look, and I do usually have answers for people that guide them in a good, solid direction. So if that's the type of DFS information you're looking for, you need to come in, click the link at the bottom here, dfsarmy.com, use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, trigger that 20% off discount, get your butt in here on Monday and start your week off on the right foot. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon.